on Facebook page at Dr. Zabby's Talk Show.
A kí gbogbo wa nílé lóko lẹ́yìn òde, a kí wa pé akíwọ́jú ọjọ́ ṣe rí mo kẹ́yìn ìyá mo kẹ́yìn bàbá mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mo kí àbúrò èmi ọmọ yín olólùfẹ́ yín Dr. Zabby's Talk Show. Ayé ọpẹ́ yọ ṣe ọlọ́dọ̀ ti sin náà ní agbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run. Ayé ọpẹ́ máa yọ fún wa lórí ọmọ, lórí ìdáwọ́lé wa láyé ọpẹ́ máa fi máa yọ. Èwo la mú wa fún wa lọ́jọ́ títí òní pé ká ṣe àgbéyẹ̀wò ẹ̀. Eléyìí ga ó lẹ́tìkẹ́. Lóòótọ́ àti òdodo láṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ mọ̀gá nínú ọ̀rọ̀ ilẹ̀ yìí. Oh my God. Ṣé mọ̀ wípé àwọn ọ̀gá kan wà tó jẹ́ wípé bó ṣe lè hùn kó mọ fẹ́ ọmọọṣẹ́ tó bá dá sí wọn, ọmọọṣẹ́ tó bá rí wípé kí n tó gbélé yìí ó ti gbé, kí n tó gbé tọ̀hún ó ti gbé, ọmọọṣẹ́ yìí mò ń lò owó tó yẹ kí n san fún gan ó yẹ kó pọ̀ jù báyìí lọ, bọ̀ mo tún jèrè láti ara ẹ̀ ni. Ohun lọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀ yìí, ẹ̀yin ìyá mi ẹ̀yin bàbá mi, Ọlọ́run ti fi ojú aṣebi wọn, lótìtọ́ àti òdodo lọ́lọ́run fi ojú aṣebi wọn. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni lóòótọ́ dẹ̀ ni gbogbo wa ti mọ̀ àwọn aṣebi, ẹni tó jẹ́ aṣebi. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni bàbá ọ̀la ẹ fẹ́ kúrò lọ́wọ́ aṣebi, ọ̀nà bọ́lá lè gbégbà, báwo la ṣe lè ṣe? Eléyìí wá ń fi ojú hàn bí ìgbà tó bá jẹ́ wípé wọ́n múná lọ ó wá tan torchlight. Ṣé mo rí pé torchlight òun ò ní rí gbogbo nǹkan, ó lè má rí nǹkan tó ń wá yẹn dáadáa, bọ̀ tó bá múná dé inú ẹ máa dùn nípa Ọlọ́run ṣe wọ́n ti wá múná dé, jẹ́ ń tètè wo ibo mo gbé báàgì mi sí, ibo mo gbé pọ́ọ̀sì mi sí. Òun ló ṣẹlẹ̀ ń sìn wípé Ọlọ́run ti fi ojú àwọn pípù yìí wọ̀n, bọ̀ báwo la fẹ́ bọ́ ní ọwọ́ wọn? Àwọn wo ló gbéjà wá báyìí sìn? Àwọn wo ló ń bá wa ja ìjà yìí? Àwọn Britiko ni. Wọ́n wá ti wá gbé ojú yẹn jáde gọ̀gọ́ pé ṣé tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ lẹ rò pé bóyá abẹ́ là ń bá yín ṣe? Nísìnyí back to back, fire to fire ni. Ta ló máa gbà wá, ta ló máa rà wá kalẹ̀? Back to back, fire to fire. Òun ni eléyìí báyìí sìn. Ẹ̀yin brọ́dà mi àti sísà mi tó bá jẹ́ nígbà àkọ́kọ́ tẹ́ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lórí ìkànnì aláyọ̀ yìí, orúkọ tèmi ò tí ì padà, Dr. Zabby's Talk Show. Ayé ọpẹ́ yọ̀ṣẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ títí náà ní agbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run. Ayé ọpẹ́ a máa yọ̀ fún wa lórí ọmọ, lórí ìdáwọ́lé wa, níbi tó ti jẹ́ wípé báwo la fẹ́ bọ́ nínú oko ẹrú tán kó wa sí tó jẹ wá lógún. Mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé lágbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run ilẹ̀kùn náà àṣì, torí àdákẹ́ láti máa kàn ìyanu àṣẹlẹ̀ lágbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run. Ojú èmi àti yín dẹ̀ ló máa ṣe hàn ní fi èèyàn kankan ṣàwátì nínú wa lágbára Elédùmarè. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń bá wa dá sí ọ̀rọ̀ foundation wa, tẹ́ ń support wa, lágbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run àrọ́mọdọ́mọ yín kò ní gbégbá bára, àníwówó tí àníwọ́ láti ní agbára lọ́wọ́ Elédùmarè. Àrọ́mọdọ́mọ wa hàn ní gbégbá bára gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo máa ń sọ. Olórí àdúrà mi ni àṣẹ Èdùmarè. Now ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ti ń bá tẹ́tí ń kí wa pípẹ́ àkó ètò, èmi náà kí yín pé àkó bójú ọjọ́ ṣeré láì má gbára wa ní àkókò. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ máa ń bá wa share ètò náà, mo dúpẹ́, mo mọ̀ lóore. God bless you. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ó jẹ́ nígbà àkọ́kọ́, ẹ má gbàgbé láti subscribe. God bless you, one love. Now nǹkan ńlá tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nílùú Nàìjíríà tínú gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà ń dùn, ní àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà, yes, because ibi tó bá ti ń ṣe rere kí wọn náà kó bá wọn máa gbárùkù tì ní. Mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni Britiko fòdìde o, tó ní ìṣerere yẹn irọ́ ni o. Kí ló fà á? Báwo lẹ fẹ́ ṣe? Wáì tí ìṣerere fẹ́ kàn yín? No, ẹrú la mú yín sí, ìṣerere ó jìnnà sí yín. Britiko pẹ̀lú àwọn tó jẹ́ ìdààmú àdúgbò, tó dé ìdààmú orílẹ̀-èdè fún wa ní ìlú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, number one nìyẹn, dá wa lójú. Torọ́ mọ̀ wípé tí Yorùbá bá ti kúrò, nǹkan tó bá mú Yorùbá kúrò ẹ gbàgbé ẹ̀. Gbogbo Áfíríkà, èho Áfíríkà, àwọn ibi tó kù sí táwọn ní nǹkan táwọn ilé máa gbà, gbogbo wọn bye bye ni, bye bye tó rédèrèdè ni. Nǹkan tó fà á nìyẹn lọ́jọ́ kìíní àná tọ́n ṣe lè gbé agbára yẹn sí ọwọ́ ọmọ Yorùbá, tó jẹ́ pé àwọn do as I say, àwọn ọmọ Fúlàní ló gbélé lọ́wọ́ nìyẹn. Nǹkan tó fà á nìyẹn. Àwọn náà dẹ̀ náà ìwà nídìí ọ̀rọ̀ wa. wọ́n wá kúrò wọ́n wá lọ tààrà o wọ́n wá dúró lórí ti nàìjíríà gangan pé ẹ̀yin nàìjíríà ṣe bí nǹkan tó fà á nìyẹn, ẹ wo iye tó ń gbà fún wọn tó bá fẹ́ wá kàwé ń sìn. wọ́n dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé ọmọ nàìjíríà by one way or the other ọmọ nàìjíríà tí gbogbo ìlú mi ò bá ṣe ọmọ nàìjíríà máa wá ṣe. why tí nira yìí why tó pọ̀ tó tó yìí náà ibo ní ká gbà wọlé. Ó ṣe ní láàánú, ó jẹ́ nǹkan tó bá tí èèyàn tó bá níbẹ̀rù ọlọ́run tó bá dẹ̀ fẹ́ràn ọmọlàkejì ẹ̀, because ààrọ̀ ọlọ́run ara wa náà láti ń ṣe ìjẹ́rìí ọlọ́run. Yálà ó jẹ́ owó ìjọba yálà kò jẹ́ owó ìjọba, bọ̀ mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé nìyí ó ti ń dìde ní ọ̀nà oríṣiríṣi. Kò síbi tí èèyàn sì lè pàdé àánú, kò sẹ́ni tọ́lọ́run ò lè gbé dìde ní ibi àrà oore òjijì. Kò sígbà tí ò lè wọlé tí ìrètí ẹ ò bá pin. Ká má lè mójú bọ́ pé ria ibo ló ti rówó tówó yẹn tó yẹn. Ẹ má bínú pé mò ń wọnú ẹ má tó rí nǹkan tí mò ń sọ o. Ibo ló ti rówó tó, ó ṣáà ti ní owó yẹn, ó dẹ̀ ń lọ bó yẹ kó lọ. Ó dẹ̀ ti fi oore yẹn ó ti fi ṣoore fún àwọn kan tó wọ̀n lójú gbogbo ọmọ nàìjíríà kó tó di wípé irú nǹkan báyìí wá dé. Àwọn Britiko wá sọ wípé kó fòkó níṣó. Now ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ gbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu. Mo mọ̀ pé tí n bá gbé wọlé nísìnyí gbogbo wa náà la máa mọ̀.
Started begging people, doing social media, brands all over the place, and brought their fares from 15, 17 million to 5 million. Now even begging people to come on. So Nigerians embraced APs. Yesterday at the airport I met someone who told me, look, Alan, God will bless you. Look at my family of 6. I had to cancel my flight with one of the direct carriers. With all the money they subtracted from my cancellation, I still made gain flying APs. What I would have used in flying 2 members of my family, I'm using it to fly 6 members of the family. Thanks to you. That even now, if I want to go back to those carriers to fly, it has become far cheaper. So, Nigerian, when you say what has it been like?
Yeah. Ọ̀gbẹ́ni tí ẹ gbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu ẹ̀ òun ló ní airpeace. That is airline tán ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ gbé kalẹ̀ nílùú Nàìjíríà. Tí gbọ́ nǹkan kan mú kan fẹ́ gba inú ẹ̀ wọlé kẹ́ lè gbọ́ àlàyé yẹn láti ẹnu ẹ̀. Bóyá kí n dẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ látòrí ọ̀rọ̀ brọ́dà wa tó ṣojú ẹ̀ ó ṣojú mi kòró. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ lọ sọ́dọ̀ ó ṣojú mi kòró náà, ẹni tó wọ flight yẹn, nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀, nǹkan tó wá rí. Ẹ má sì jẹ́ ká gbọ́ lẹ́nu ọlọ́rọ̀, ẹ jẹ́ kí n gbélé kúrò ká gbọ́ lẹ́nu ẹni tó ṣe ojú ẹ̀, so that tí n bá wá gbélé ìpadà wá ẹ máa wá mọ nǹkan tí mò ń sọ wípé Britiko kò ń ṣe Yorùbá nìkan ló fẹ́ fogun jà. Ogun abẹ́nú, ogun abẹ́lẹ̀, ogun kòrókòró báyìí òun leléyìí sì pẹ̀lú ọmọ Nàìjíríà. Now,
an airpeace ticket and waited for the inaugural flight on the 30th of March. I mean, this is my boarding pass, just so that you're aware. I mean, you can see it's a 10:25 flight, and it was the 30th of March, 2024. Everything. So I'm going to try and break this down into 3 different areas. One is the pre-boarding arrangements, the ground operations before we boarded. The second will be the actual experience on the flight, and the third will be, when we landed at Murtala Mohammed International Airport. The pre-boarding operation for me felt like the airport authorities, the airport operations are designed for it to look like airpeace was inefficient. People don't normally think or know that the grounds operations are largely out of the hands of the airline operators or operations. Those are in the hands of the airport operators. So in this case, Gatwick Airport, and I think they also had a third-party baggage handling company. From when I arrived at the airport at about 7 27:30, I noticed that there was absolutely no sign that pointed you to the direction of where Airpeace was checking in, none whatsoever. That was wrong. That was the first alarm bell. Secondly, where they went and put Airpeace was they tucked them at the back of the corner somewhere. Second alarm bell. The third thing, the check-in desk that they put there, the belt that sort of moved the luggage from the check-in operator to the baggage handlers was not working. Now, for an inaugural flight of an air operation, these are things that you expect the airport operators to have worked very carefully with the airline to make sure it was seamless. They obviously gave their assurances, but obviously failed. But you see, as an outsider, if you stood there, what came to your mind was you were seeing Airpeace, not Gatwick operations. The other thing also was that I realized that the number of desks that they had available for us to check in was very limited. Even worse was the fact that the staff that they had behind those desks were rookies. I think they probably just hired them and trained them very quickly, because they were asking each other, how do I do this? How do I do excess luggage? How do I pay for this? And I just stood there. I tried to stand aside as an operations person myself to really take it all in and see how all of this was likely to affect the brand of Airpeace in the minds of the passengers that were trying to experience this sort of beautiful operation. Anyways, I checked in. Mine was absolutely seamless. Everything went very well. I then decided that I was going to have a third. So I had some hand luggage I decided to check in. So I bought a small suitcase again. I put them in there and decided to have a third baggage check, which was supposed to cost $150 to check in. When I got to the Airpeace desk, they said it was $150. They tagged it. They gave me a ticket to go and pay at the desk of these third-party luggage operators. I think they're called Swift. I can't remember the name. I think it's Swift Flight or whatever the name of the baggage handlers were. When I got there, they said it was £170, and I thought, how can you translate $150 to £170? Because normally $150 is meant to be 130 something pounds, because the sterling was stronger than the dollar. They charged Fariga. They said, no, that's it. Okay, so a lady stepped forward and she introduced herself to me as an executive director of the airline. Young, very vibrant lady, and she said her name was Nena. She offered to pay the cost, and I said, no, you don't do that. This is not about the money, it's about the principle that I can see this third-party company trying to frustrate the efforts of Airpeace. I think it was at that point that she told me that her name was Nena and that her surname was Onyema. So I thought, okay. And she said, oh, that she's the daughter of the chairman of Airpeace. I have to say, she was very professional, she was very kind, and she obviously knows her onions. When it comes to customer services and operations, she did the right thing. She did everything by the books. I also met another lady called Tony Olajide. She's the chief operating officer on ground. These ladies did all that they could do, all that in textbook terms was needed to be done to make that flight leave the grounds on time. But you know what? I stood there and I laughed, because I saw how they had planned beforehand to really frustrate those efforts. Do you know that it was the night before the that they communicated to Airpeace that they were changing the check-in desk, and they changed it from a fully operational one to one that didn't have an operational conveyor belt. I mean, let's think about this. Airpeace did everything right. Their communications was bang on. They informed us 3 days before, 2 days before, on the day itself that they were going to open the check-in desk at 7:40, they were looking to close the check-in desk at 9:40, and they were looking for the flight to leave and to take off on time. They did everything by the books. But let's remember that Arik had tried this route before and they were frustrated and died. Medview had tried this route before, frustrated and died. Bellevue, frustrated and died. Do you know why they don't want this route to succeed for a Nigerian airline operator? It is very lucrative. It's a 6-hour flight comparative to London, New York. London, New York, economy, 350, 400 pounds. London, Lagos, the minimum you're going to get is about 800, 900 pounds. Low season. High season, I think some people were, during this Easter period, some people were finding BA and Virgin at almost 3,000 pounds for economy delight. Premium was touching, I think premium was touching about 3,500. Don't even go to their upper class. 6,000-7,000 pounds. The same 6-hour flight, London to New York, will be 300-400 pounds for economy, maybe about 800 pounds for premium, and then maybe about 1,500, maybe 2,000 pounds at the max for business class maximum. So you can see how lucrative this route is. But the only two British airlines plowing that route from Lagos to London, British Airways and Virgin Atlantic. The British government and those two companies will do everything within their power to truncate the efforts of any Nigerian airline trying to break into that market. So my advice to Chief Onyema and his operations crew is that they should not see this as a business-to-business fight. This is a government-to-government fight. It's a British government establishment versus the Nigerian government establishment fight. Chief Onyema needs, in addition to the Minister of Aviation, and I'm not saying he's not doing what he's supposed to do, I'm sure he is, but he needs two other ministers behind him. He needs the Minister for Trade, Industry, Trade and Investment, and he needs the Minister for Foreign Affairs besides him. The trade part of the business, the minister needs to let the British know what the consequences will be if they continue to do what they're doing. For the foreign side of it, the airline business is not just about the trade, it's also a diplomatic business as well. There's a very strong element of diplomacy in airline operations. When you talk about the BASA agreements and all those are foreign related, foreign affairs related discussions. So these two ministers, together with the Minister for Aviation, hold the key to unlocking access to the UK airspace for Nigerian operators. They have to stand behind Alex Onyema. They have to stand beside Airpeace to make this work. Again, as I said, everybody on the plane, there was a guy, the captain, Captain Lawrence Tochukwu. He walked the length and the breadth of the plane, did fantastically well, spoke to everybody. It felt like home. I really like the fact that the entire crew was all Nigerian. The co-pilot was a guy called David Olateru. They spoke pidgin English. It was beautiful. There was a bit of turbulence on the route. These guys handled it brilliantly, effortlessly. Takeoff, landing, beautiful. So we have to help Airpeace succeed and not see them go the same route, the same way as Arik or Bellevue and Medview. The Airpeace has to succeed. The Nigerians in diaspora, particularly Nigerians in the UK, we have a role to play. If you have to write to your MPs, write to them. Let them know that there are discriminatory practices at Gatwick Airport. Point to the fact that they are deliberate, they are intentional in their effort to see and bring down a Nigerian airline operator at Gatwick. If you don't do it, British Airways and Virgin will bring the prices down for a while, so as to get rid of Airpeace. And once Airpeace is gone, they go back. This time, charge you maybe triple. And all those Ileya and Easter periods, trips that you would normally make, you can't make them anymore. So literally, it's in our own interest to make sure that we see Air Peace succeed. Please, let's do that. Let's stand behind one of ours. Now, talking about my experience on the plane, I can only describe it as awesome. I mean, the food was absolutely beautiful. I had real goat meat pepper soup as starters, and when I did talk about starters, the portions were good, man. You know, very, very tasty, big chunky meats and stuff. Would be say the goat meat itself, they challenge you, say make you get stuck in. Not like the ones you get on the British Airways and Virgin flights. Trust me, you know, good rounded portions. You had a choice of jollof fries with chicken. We had, and then before we landed, there was skewered prawns, and it was just beautiful, just really lovely. The plane itself was very clean. It was very bright, very spacious, and you know, really, really good and decent sizes in terms of the space, the seats. The experience was excellent. The hosts and hostesses were perfect. They attended to every single one of your needs. You know, sometimes you press to request assistance, you press the assistance button on a BA or Virgin flight. It take them sometimes 5 minutes to even get to you. These guys were very prompt. So the only thing I can ask them to do is please maintain that level of service. I would give them an 8/10 in terms of service. Really, really first class. They did very, very well. Well done.
Now, a dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run tó láyé tó lọ́run. Mo rò pé a máa gbọ́ àlàyé tí brọ́dà wa yìí tó ṣe àlàyé ẹ̀. Ẹ má bínú, ẹ bá mi fún ní volume láti ọ̀dọ̀ yín bẹ̀ yẹn ni. Mi ò fẹ́ fọwọ́ kan, mo ti ṣe mistake láti lè fún ní volume, but now ẹ jẹ́ ká tún tẹ̀síwájú, ká tún gbọ́ nǹkan tí ẹlòmíì náà tó sọ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí.
Alan Onyema had already cry out for help. Before he start to fly Lagos to London, all these international airlines, they collect as high as 2 million for economy. But when Alan Onyema come, all the fly Lagos to London at 1.2 million. All those airlines call to drop their price. I am hearing now from what he's saying that some of those airlines are now ready to even fly the Lagos to London at $100. So what they want to do is to remove Air Peace from business, so that only them go do the business, then they can control the price. They want to pull that company in trouble, and that is the only Nigerian airline we have flying international routes. Let me show you this news as they come.
That you probably will get on some other airlines is what Air Peace is giving. And so then the question is that those who will say, Mr. Oyinbo, don't rejoice too yet. Because what you have just raised is those experts who have said, we've seen other Nigerian-owned airlines who have gone through this route and frustrated out of the market. The same strategy is being employed right now by some of these foreign airlines to drop the price so that people will now leave Air Peace and go to those foreign airlines. Are you aware of those tactics?
Of course. Of course. It's a very devilish conspiracy. All of a sudden, people are airlines are underpricing. That is below the cost.
Just in the space of 1 month.
Yes, not up to a month. One other airline was advertising $100. Another one $305, $350. This, if you fill up the entire aircraft and carry people on the wings, it's not even enough to buy your fuel. So why are they doing that? Their governments are supporting them. Their governments are supporting them because Nigeria has been a cash cow for everybody. Their governments are supporting them.
They come here, they fleece the country, and they even have opportunity to fly just around the country.
Yes.
The way you will not, as a
doing their country.
you not do that.
So their governments are supporting them to do this and take a piece out. The idea is to take a piece out. And the moment they succeed in taking a piece out, Nigerians will pay 20 times over. Once again, it's going to happen if, God forbid, they're able to take a piece out. Because what is happening now is scary. And of course, even in Gatwick where you are you given 100% cooperation? Let me tell you this. On the first day, on the inaugural flight out of London, 24 hours to the time, they moved us to another check-in area, other than the place assigned to us. The place they gave us, the carousel was not working. So when you check in people, you need to manually carry the load to go from 50 meters away to go delay you. No other airline faced that.
Operation.
Exactly, no other airline faced that.
And the fact that
they can even use your ground handlers.
They didn't even allow you they didn't permit you to land in Heathrow, to operate in Heathrow.
Of course, that one is, they will tell you no slot. Even Gatwick, when we got to Gatwick, we now said, okay, let us take Gatwick. They say, oh, no slot available. When we pushed and pushed, they gave us scattered slots. Today, 3 p.m., next day, 2 a.m., the next day. Who does that? So Festus Kayamo had to went to London with us, and to warn them, if you continue these stupid, foolish acts, the government of Nigeria will surely retaliate. And this is from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who will retaliate.
So the government of Nigeria has solidly backed MPs.
Of course. I said that before the President during the IFTA. That is the truth. The government of Nigeria is behind APs, making sure they didn't, but the government has to.
You see, I saw this coming. I saw it coming. They carry price as 3,000, no call even see passengers at all because you are ready to carry the 1K. So what would that guy do? He go close up your business. When they don't close up the business, only you now call him for business. That time you cannot carry your price to 10,000. That is what they want to do to APs now. So because before APs came, they were already flying economy at 2 million. So where are they seeing money now? Now that they are advertising flight tickets at $300. Do you know what is $300? $300 is just 375,000. You that you're flying Lagos to London at 2 million, you cannot fly us 375,000. And what Alan Oyinbo is telling you now is that if you calculate the whole flight, everybody on the plane, like you carry people on the wings at 375,000, you cannot even buy fuel to carry that plane and fly. Meanwhile, even they tell you say some other airlines they advertise at $100, which is 125,000 to London. So they will run this thing and everybody will now go to their side, patronizing them. APs no cost money on business again. APs will go pack off that route. Then they'll go carry their price back to 4 million or 5 million. You know what we will do for APs? If you are a Nigerian and you are going to the UK, if other airlines like, let them put their price at 1.5. We are buying APs tickets. We are buying, because if you go support those people, when we successfully run APs aground, we will start buying tickets at 7 million for economy. So we will stand with APs and decide that we are buying APs tickets if the price let it be the highest. That's one. Secondly, all these operators wait $6 high. It is time to bring it out. Your Nigerian company needs it. That company needs support. We support them with all that we have. Because that's the only airline from Nigeria flying international. If we support them properly, we will have other airlines from Nigeria flying the same international, and they will be good enough to carry ourselves. In fact, now all those foreign companies that will go pursue come on that route. They can't be bigger than Nigeria. For Christ's sake, 200 million people. Do you know how many of us are flying out every day? Once we decide that we want to support a peace, we will do it. We will do it. So this is the time Nigerians to be patriotic. This is the time to stand for our own. Enough of buying Toyota cars when we have no senior and nod. Enough of flying international airlines when we have AirPCA. If we don't get Nigerian airline when they fly that route, it's fine. But once we have it, our airline has the first right of refusal. There's something called the first right of refusal. If you have a friend who be caterer and you get party, you not get out they want to another guy be your caterer unless he's busy. So unless Epis airline is filled up, we are not flying another airline. Once we can decide that Nigerians will do it, we are paying 2 million since for economy. So we can pay 1 point something for Epis. If they like, let them put their price at 1.5. Decide that you will support your own, and trust me, we'll build our economy. Because they will help us run our economy aground, then they will take advantage of us if we don't stand and fight for what is ours now.
Mo rò pé ẹ̀yin ọmọ Nàìjíríà, mo rò pé ẹ ti gbọ́ nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí. Mo rò pé gbogbo wa la ti gbọ́. Ṣe rí ọ̀nà wípé bí àwọn olórí wa kí la ṣe gangan náà? Kí ni dúdú ṣe? Fídíò kan bọ̀ sí tó máa kà yín láyà. Tó tẹ́ máa mọ̀ wípé kò sírọ́ nínú gbogbo nǹkan tí mò ń sọ, gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ kò sírọ́ nínú ẹ̀. Àwọn pípù yìí fẹ́ dá wa padà tí ẹ̀yìn sí oko alẹ́, sí oko àti jẹun ẹyọ kan gan kó máa di ìnira fún wa. Nǹkan tí àwọn pípù yìí tó ń fẹ́ ṣe fún Áfíríkà nìyẹn, especially Nàìjíríà. Ẹ wo nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ wípé ìjọba Nàìjíríà náà ní tiwọn nínú ẹ o. Ojú máa yìí rí tó o. Tẹ bá wo full video tí ó ń fi ṣe interview fún, tẹ bá wo full one yẹn, ẹ máa mọ̀ wípé àwọn Nàìjíríà fúnra wọn gan, àwọn gan náà pẹ̀lú àwọn tó ń tà wá sóko ẹrú. Bọ̀ ìgbà tó wá dójú ẹ̀ tó dé stage kan, ó dàbí pé àwọn Nàìjíríà padà tó fẹ́ súnmọ́. Bọ̀ níbi tó wà yìí sí ẹ wò, àìmọye àwọn tó ti gbé business kalẹ̀ báyìí, Britiko bàjẹ́ mọ́ wọn lọ́wọ́ nínú àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà. A lè ka 4, ó dàbí pé ó ní 4th one. Ẹ wá wo reason tó fi ń bàjẹ́ gbogbo kò tí ì wọ̀n báyìí. Bọ̀ ẹ wá wo reason yẹn gangan sìn. Kí la ṣe gangan? Kí ni ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wa? Kálárì bá wí, ṣe báwọn náà ló wà nídìí wípé káwa náà má ní airline tiwa. Now, ẹ má jẹ́ kí n rojọ́ púpọ̀ jù because mi ò ní fẹ́ kó pẹ́. Ẹ bá wa pín ètò yìí, ẹ bá wa share. Ẹ ṣàforíjì fún mi tí ò bá loud púpọ̀ àwọn nǹkan tí mò ń play yẹn. Mo mọ ibi tí mistake yẹn ti wá, bọ̀ ẹ ṣàforíjì fún mi. Ó dẹ̀ possible kó má affect ẹ̀. Bọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká sáré lọ sí ti obìnrin yìí kí a ṣe ní pápápá.
Set you up with the unfortunately, we are not given the free will to make decisions on our own mineral resources. There's always Big Brother who decides. And when you fight and say, no, we are not going to do this, they use the system to stop you. It's either they set you up with the opposition and they'll be supporting the opposition against you from the back, or they cause unnecessary chaos in your country so that you are not able to even govern your own people. They will do things to make you not to be functionable. And of course, any country that don't have peace cannot develop. You have to have peace before you talk about development. I'll give you a simple example about Sierra Leone. Every mining company that is in Sierra Leone today is owned by a foreigner. Every mining company. If it's not the Chinese, it's the American, it's the British. Our electricity, Bumuda, is run by the British, and we still don't have light. We're looking for light, electricity. If you don't have electricity, how can you talk about education? How can you talk about health facility? How can you talk about improving the infrastructure of your country we don't have electricity. Now, do we actually even have proper water, pipe-borne water, so that our kids will not be sick? We don't have those facilities. Why, with all the minerals we have, there is a cap you put? Before my husband became the president of Sierra Leone was benefiting, they said, what's the word? 0.000.1%. What is that? Basically, a company can take as much as $100 million out of the country in terms of minerals, and then they can just give the country $10,000. Now, what will $10,000 do for our health system? What is $10,000 do for our educational system? And these are the things I believe that are stopping Africa from progressing. We don't have a say. The sense about us celebrating independence, I don't know why we celebrate independence, because we are not free.
Adúpẹ́, mo rò pé a ti rí afẹ́fẹ́ ti fẹ́, a ti rí ìdí adìyẹ báyìí sìn. Ṣé gbọ́ nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ títí wọn náà, wípé àwọn pípù yìí wọ́n ní àwọn ò yọkùn lọ́rùn wa, kí la ṣe fún àwọn pípù yìí? Ṣàtúwárí wọn dá lẹ́bi. Èrò Nàìjíríà a ní flight ẹyọ kan tó jórúkọ Nàìjíríà, èyí tó fi lu jìbìtì fún wọn, tó yẹ kó jẹ́ wípé tó bá ní bàbá wa Jagaban, wọ́n lè má sọ̀rọ̀ burúkú sí Nàìjíríà o, ẹ má ṣépè fún àwọn olórí yín o, bọ̀ ṣé ẹ hùwà ìpè, ẹ dẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ pé kẹ́ máa pọ́n Nàìjíríà lé, kí lẹ ṣe gangan? Àní bàbá búbù ó yẹ kó máa pààrà court ni, ó yẹ kó máa lọ sí court, kó máa padà, kó máa lọ, kó máa bọ̀ ni. Emefiele nìkan kọ́. Tó bá ní kí ló dé, wípé òun náà lọ́wọ́ sínú nǹkan tí Emefiele tó ṣe. Ọjọ́ kìíní àná flight tán lọ kùn lọ́dà tó dẹ̀ wọ̀n sójú gbogbo ayé. Kí ni Jagaban ṣe ìgbà tó dórí ipò? Kí ni bàbá Jagaban ṣe nígbà tó dórí ipò? Ọmọ Nàìjíríà, èmi ò mọrú Ọlọ́run tó dá wa. Mi ò mọrú Ọlọ́run tó dá ọmọ Nàìjíríà, tó rọ́mọ Yorùbá ni mí. Bá tiẹ̀ tí ní passport wa, bọ̀ claim rere, claim ìṣerere sínú ìgbésí ayé ẹ̀. Irú mínísítà yẹn sìn, ṣé kò yẹ kó wà níbi tó ti mọ́? Wọ́n wá ní kán gba béèlì Emefiele torí pé ó jẹ́ ní pàtàkì láwùjọ, kó lè máa, à ń gbé yẹn bọ̀ later, kó lè máa gba ilé wá sí court, kó lè máa gba court wálé or whatever. Irú ẹni tó pààrọ̀ irú wípé ó lọ gbé ọ̀dà Nàìjíríà sára flight nígbà tí Buhari, ó yẹ kó jẹ́jọ́ níwájú bọ̀ ìgbà tí ẹ̀yin tán láṣeyọrí nínú ilé wọn. Àwọn òyìnbó yìí náà dẹ̀rẹ̀, wọ́n rí gbogbo ẹ̀, ọmọ gbogbo ẹ̀, wọ́n dẹ̀ fẹ́ kẹ́ ní àṣeyọrí. Fire to fire lélẹ́yìí o, fire to fire, ó ní Britiko ń bá Nàìjíríà fà, wọ́n máa bá wọn délẹ̀ ní, àwọn náà máa bá Nàìjíríà. Àṣeyọrí kankan Britiko ò fẹ́ kó yọ láti ọwọ́ Nàìjíríà, torí pé wọ́n fi wá ń ṣe àtẹ̀gùn ni, wọ́n fi wá ń ṣe àtẹ̀gùn. Àwọn gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì parapọ̀ mọ́ àwọn ọmọ ìlú wọn. Àwọn bóyá yẹ kó bóyá rí nìyẹn, bóyá ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Britiko nìyẹn, bóyá ń ṣẹlẹ̀ láwọn ìlú òyìnbó mi nìyẹn. Ọmọ ìlú first kó tó kan ẹlòmíì, but Nàìjíríà ò rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Nàìjíríà aráàta first kó tó kan ẹ̀yin ọmọ ìlú gangan ni. Post tó yẹ kí ọmọ ìlú kó wà, aráàta ẹ wá gbà. Tó bá jẹ́ nílùú òyìnbó tó ní àwọn ò ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. Tó bá qualify, but àwọn ó qualify ò qualify, ó ṣáà ti jẹ́ òyìnbó ò ń ṣara wa, má wọrí, a lè fi ẹ́ powó máa bọ̀, bó o bá tiẹ̀ mọ̀, ìwọ má wọrí, cover ẹ̀ up. Ìpele eléyìí tàbí ègún tàbí nǹkan mi. Ìyá mi, brother mi, àṣìṣà mi, àti ẹ̀yin ẹlẹgbẹ́ mi, mo kí wa pé akó ojú ọjọ́ ṣe rí, bíbá ìlànà dúró sí lọ́jọ́ títí òní. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ̀ ń dá sọ̀rọ̀ ṣárí tiwa. Lágbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run, àrọ́mọdọ́mọ wà ní gbígbà afárá. Èyí tó bá jẹ́ nígbà àkọ́kọ́, ẹ bá wa pín ètò, ẹ bá wa fi kọ́mẹ̀ntì yín sílẹ̀. Báwo ló ṣe rí lọ́dọ̀ títí yín? Ẹ má ṣàlàyé pín, ẹ pín lógúnlógún, ẹ pín lọ́gbọ̀n. kó lè dé ara oko kó lè dọ́dọ̀ ara ilé wípé Britiko wọ́n ti ń bá ọmọ Nàìjíríà wọ́n ń bá fa ilé ẹgbóye tó pè kí flight wa máa ní òun fẹ́ gbé £200 $200 so that kó lè rẹ́ẹ̀kì ẹni tó ṣe dìde láti Nàìjíríà kó lè gbé ṣubú kó lè gbé wálẹ̀ wẹ́ a tún máa ríra lọ́jọ́ mi mú kí wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pa kó jọjọ́ ṣe rí bó fẹ́ rí ní comment section báwo ló ṣe rí lọ́dọ̀ yín ṣó mú yes tàbó mú no ṣáàrí sọ ní tàbá àrí sọ ẹ fi sílẹ̀ nínú comment section yín gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ máa bá fi comment sílẹ̀ mo kí yín pa kó bójú ọjọ́ ṣe rí God bless you bíbá ẹ̀ la máa dúró sí lọ́jọ́ títí òní orúkọ tèmi ò tí yí padà Dr. Zabby Talk Show ayé ọpẹ́ yọṣíyọ lọ́dọ̀ títí náà ní agbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run ayé ọpẹ́ a máa yọ fún wa lórí ọmọ lórí ìdáwọ́lé wa lórí bísínẹsì lórí ìtẹ̀síwájú wa lágbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run ibi gíga láyé wa ibi gíga la máa wà lágbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run Yorùbá nation no going back. God bless you, one love, bye for now.
You're welcome. Kindly subscribe to YouTube channel and follow on Facebook page at Dr. Zabby's Talk Show.